Hey guys, this is Joshua Seth, voice of Tai on Digimon, and you're listening to Anime Secrets.
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh yes, this is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin Quest. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Spoken Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Ridwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Toku Secrets Podcast, presented by animesecrets.org. And today, we are doing our very first installment of taking a look at Sentai crossover movies. Technically, we took a look at the Gekiranger Go-Onger crossover movie, but we did that because that had some major plot implications for the actual series, which is probably the only time I can recall that a Sentai crossover movie has had that type of impact. But now we're just taking a look at this because, well, we feel like it. And we are going to be taking a look at every Sentai crossover movie for Sentais that we've already seen. Now, thankfully for us, that means that we only have to take a look at 2 so far. But as you guys will probably see as the year goes on, we're going to be taking a look at a lot more of these in the in the near future. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But in that case, we just finished Engine Sentai Go-Onger. And here's the thing. The 2 Sentais that come before and after Go-Onger, well, guess what? We've reviewed those too, which means that we have to review both Engine Sentai Go-Onger versus Gekiranger, which we're covering today, and then we're also going to be doing the Shinkenger versus Go-Onger movie soon as well. So, yep, we are here.
Nate, do we have to?
Yes, we do. Now sit down.
Dang it!
Why is like somebody's parent?
Yep. All right. So, yeah, that about sums up the whole thing. We got a lot to talk about here because these crossover movies usually run pretty long. So, with that said, first we need to talk about, as per usual with our other Sentai movies, we need to talk about when this takes place because since Go-Onger was the series that was airing at the time, this would be considered part of the Go-Onger series. But this movie is actually, it can only be considered non-canon because in this movie, Yogo Stein is alive and well, and the Go-Ongers have access to Engine G12 formation, and that is a complete contradiction of the continuity of the series because, as you guys will remember, Yogo Stein fused with Harander Fall and then got killed immediately after Engine G12 formation, so the debut. So, yeah, this movie cannot be considered canon. Uh, Probably the first Sentai crossover movie I've seen. Well, technically, I know O Ranger and Kaku Ranger can't be considered canon, but we'll talk about that whenever we get to it. But yeah, this is the first one I've watched that cannot be that is non-canon, which I guess Riz can take some solace in that, although not too much.
Nope, none taken.
All right, so we're gonna go over the plot here. The movie opens up. The Go-Ongers, they are alerted to a Gaiark attack. A monster called the Nunchuck Banki is attacking, and when they show up, the main 3 Gekirangers, so that's Retsu, Ron, and the person who I won't name because I don't want Riz to have an aneurysm. Uh, they they're fighting an Nunchuck Banki, but then they get sent to a different brain world. And then they meet up with Go Fukami, Geki Violet, and Kinti Satsu, Geki Chopper. and they learn from Master Shafu that the Gaiark are after the Doko which is the pendant that Long was sealed in at the end of the Gekiranger series. They head into the other dimension with Goenkin, and they find that the Gaiark ministers have teamed up with the Nunchuck Bonky and a surviving Juken monster. It's a turtle-like monster called Meika, and they're trying to use the Doko to create a powerful beast, and they actually steal it, as well as the main five Go-Ongers engine souls. The Go-Ongers become desperate to save their engine partner, so they undergo training with the Gekirangers. John tries to train Sosuke in cleaning the side of a building. Ron and Ken train Saki and Gunpei in fast-paced leaf catching exercises. You might recall that from Gekiranger. Go and Retsu train Ren and Hanto in playing the piano with their feet. And Gunpei, Saki, Ren, and Hanto, they get the hang of their training, but Sosuke feels that this training isn't right for him. He runs off. He's all like, I'm going to save Speedor my own way. And apparently that results in him passing his own training, and all five Go-Ongers have unlocked their own Juken called Engine Kin. And with their new engine kin, the Go-Ongers, they fight alongside the Gekirangers. They retake their engine souls. John and Sosuke defeat the Nunchuck Bonky. That results in the Gaiark ministers retreating. But then the Doko Kugan seal is undone, and Long is released. Long overpowers them. But then the Go-On Wings arrive with Rio and Melee, because apparently with you know how Hiroto and Mew are basically perfect at everything. Well, here's a little thing that people might not have known about them, as since it was never established in the Go-Onger proper. Hiroto and Mew were trained by Master Shafu in Geki Juken. They were trained in a technique that allows them to revive wandering spirits of the dead, so they used it to revive Rio and Melee. We get our big transform moment, and then the 14, they all fight Long and Meika. They use a combo attack from their Team Bazooka to defeat Meika. Then Long enlarges. They form Engine OG9 formation, and Gekiren Toja Wolf to fight against him. With, of course, Bay the Fly appearing from India to give his commentary. When Long gains the upper hand, the Go-Ongers summon the ancient engines and can summon Sidai. So they unlock Engine OG12 formation and Sidai Geki Rentoja for a combination finishing move. They take him down, they revert Long back to the Doko Kugan, and the movie ends. Geki Rangers retrieve it. Everyone bids farewell to Rio and Melee as they return to the afterlife. Geki Rangers thank the Go-Ongers for returning the Doko Kugan to normal. Go-Ongers thank the Gekirangers for helping them get their engines back. And the credits roll. Everybody goes to celebrate Natsume. That's Miki's daughter's birthday. One fun fact to note about this movie is that at one point when the main five Go-Ongers are brought to the Scratch headquarters, Hanto apparently recognizes Miki. He apparently tried to ask her out. But here's where it gets really funny. When he asked her out, he was apparently working at a curry restaurant called the Kyoryu Ya, which is Dino House. Why is that significant? Well, that was the home and base for the Aba Rangers in Buckaroo Sentai Aba Ranger. So, yeah, Hanto may have at one point been working with the Aba Rangers. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all for the fun facts here. We can move on to normally I would bring up a movie related mech, but there's no movie related mech here. And there will be some in these crossover movies because oftentimes, especially in the 2000s ones, they would oftentimes have mechs from one Sentai and the other combined with each other. So we will get to talk about that, but not in this one. Let's talk about standout Ranger
Oh,
and villain moments.
can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, Hanto, she's too old for you, man. And second, you couldn't have her no way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that. I mean, yeah, I guess she's too old, but she's pretty good looking for an older woman. So
Oh, I know,
can you
I
blame him?
definitely know that, but I'm saying like, no, he couldn't handle her. No, he
But that's still
didn't know what to
definitely
do.
Hanto's character, though. If we're being
Yeah.
honest here.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start off with like talking about some of our standout Ranger and villain moments. And yeah, go ahead, Pat.
I'll actually kind of defend the whole bringing Long back thing, because I'm a fan of this trope of old villain returns with new team in tow, and seeing the Go-Ongers deal with him was kind of fun. I don't know if that's just me.
I mean, I didn't mind that much. He's one of those villains where it's okay to kind of bring him back because he was never actually truly killed. He was just sealed away. So
Yeah.
the idea of him just being able to come back at certain points and get sealed away again, that's just kind of what they've set up, him being the type of villain that he is.
Also, can we talk about how they mashed the thing into the shape of an engine cell?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
How did they do that?
The Sentai logic.
Science.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo Patrick here on something. I think bringing Long back was not the worst thing they could have done. I actually thought it was a decent move to do it in this case. It just seemed like a fun time to me, like because the Go-Ongers bring something different to the dynamic, and I think it was a learning opportunity for other teams to see how to fight a bad guy. And I think the Go-Ongers, while problematic in their own teamwork, were able to demonstrate, hey, we can handle this because we dealt with something maybe worse, maybe better. I don't know. That's up for debate. I'm not going to say one's worse than the other in terms of threat that they faced.
Yeah.
Because Yogo Stein and Long are both pretty good villains in their own right.
Did you just say something nice about Gekiranger? Is the sky falling?
No, I'm saying they're not terrible villains in that I didn't want to rip my skin off and barbecue myself.
Yeah.
Development. I'm joking.
It's not development. I still had the same opinion from before. I'm just saying that I think the problem here isn't that Long came back. Long was not the problem here. Something else is the problem here, and we're going to get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I've seen worse types of situations for Sentai crossover movies. I think Long coming back is probably the most acceptable.
Yeah.
One thing I don't particularly like is how the wings have experience in Geki Juken. That felt really forced.
That felt really weird.
Yeah.
Because like we know that Hiruto and Mew are really good at a lot of stuff, but making them good at this too, okay, now you're just being a little bit ridiculous.
And that's probably another reason why we should feel thankful that this movie's not canon.
Yeah.
Can we also just see? Am I the only one who thought that the train was kind of stupid? I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it fit with the
piano one, the piano toe one. It was just weird. It did sort of kind of like worked out because they did
Anthony,
do it.
That's the entire thing about Gekiranger is that none of their training ever really made sense throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't make much sense either. Like,
can I give my rant? Or I have to hold off a little bit longer?
Go ahead.
Okay. I actually think the other 4 lesser idiots were okay in their training exercise. Going by Gekiranger logic, I was okay with them saying, okay, catch the leaves, be one with the leaves, taking an Avatar reference here.
Yeah.
And, dancing on a piano. That is typical Gekiranger shenanigans.
Mhm.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Because at the end of it, they managed to catch the leaves, they managed to dance on the piano, and they earned the goddamn power.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the reason they were able to have the Go-Ongers earn the power is because these 4 were actually capable of teaching their capabilities and their abilities and their powers and all that.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Notice I said 4.
Oh no. Here it comes.
Notice I said 4. How many Gekirangers were there, guys? 1, 2,
5.
3, 4. Oh, right. 5. Hey, Riz, what happened to number 5? Why didn't he train the people?
Because it's freaking Jan!
Oh,
And
Lord.
he doesn't know how to train people because he doesn't know how to use powers because he doesn't know how to do anything. He just sits there and watches. And then at the end, when he's done and he's like watching Sosuke finally do it, because Sosuke said, screw it. You're not teaching me anything. Let me go figure it out on my own way. And then Jan walks up with a stupid grin on his stupid face, acting as if he did something great, and says, you finally learned how to unlock the power of Juken. I said it right? That's Juken?
Yeah,
I don't even
you're
know
like,
what it's
what?
called. It's stupid.
How?
But Sosuke shouldn't have learned that. Because guess what? John didn't teach him anything. And guess what? It's because John can't teach anything because John's an imbecile. So
You know what? Oh, I actually give you that because even I thought, I was like, why is he making him like leap on a building and clean windows off
you know
a
why?
5-story building?
You know why? You know why that's the case? I thought about this for a long time because I want to be ready for this podcast to give my 2 cents about this idiot. You know what I came up with? John didn't
He's an
actually
idiot?
learn anything in Gekiranger after episode 1 or 2.
Nope.
Because it happened in episode 1 or 2, I think. The towel thing. The cleaning thing. That all happened in episode 1.
Yep.
He couldn't take any other lesson from anywhere else in the season because he never learned anything. He could never do the coin stacking. He could never do anything right. He just said, waka waka, dicky dicky, waka waka. And that's it. And even Sosuke's like, the heck are you trying to tell me?
This is
The
stupid.
Go-Ongers were confused. They're like, who is this guy? Is this your guy? Is this your person? Did you bring him? Why is he here? Like, they didn't actually do that because they wanted to be nice to the new Sentai, I guess, but they were all thinking it. I promise you, they were all thinking it, especially Sosuke, because Sosuke's my man, and Sosuke knows better.
I was impressed Sosuke was even able to jump that high and actually like do it most of it.
You know why? Because
Why?
Sosuke is a G, and he can take the stupid lesson that John was thinking he could teach and kind of figure it out. The problem is, Sosuke couldn't get in touch with the Juken following John's instruction because, oh, wait, hang on. Let me reread that last sentence I just said. No, because John didn't give any instruction. John stood
And
there
also,
and smirked and watched
yeah,
and laughed.
and like
Okay.
any normal person would have died from that fall that fall blast. I guess because it's Sentai and it's not
Sentai
real.
logic.
But it's still like,
and it's annoying because I thought walking into this movie a couple of things. One, why do we do this to me? That was the first thing I thought. Why are we doing this to me? Because this is what's going to happen, and it's happening. And then the other thing I thought was, okay, maybe John has toned it down a bit. Because in Gokai, he wasn't that bad. He was tolerable. I could live with him. He was okay.
well, you didn't know him back then.
No, but even when I watched him again, that episode was not bad. But I think it's because if Marvelous saw Zahn doing that stupid stuff, Marvelous might have slapped him.
Well, Marvelous never met John. So.
Exactly, but if Marvelous did meet Zahn, he would have slapped him. If Zahn said waka waka tiki tiki or whatever.
Well, is it also a matter because John is like barely in? Like, honestly, even if you want to go by like the amount of like the roles that former Sentai Rangers play in their tribute episodes, like compared to some of the other ones, like the role that Karu plays in the Shinkenger tribute episode, or the role that Domon plays in the Time Ranger one, John's role is probably one of the smaller ones.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because the writers at Go-Kaiser realized one thing. Zahn can't teach anything. Because you know what? This guy probably watched the crossover movie with Go-Ongers and was like, oh no. Well, this guy can't teach anyone anything. Well, we got to bring him back because we're getting paid to bring him back. Okay, you just stand there and you just let us handle everything, buddy. It's okay. You don't have to do anything. Because when you start to do something, you're going to trigger a certain fan from South Texas who might have grown up in another state nearby who has parents from another country.
I wonder who this is alluding to.
This might own a podcast network and might one day talk about this.
You know, I'm sitting here listening to this, and my first thought is I thought Retsu's training was more stupid.
Right? Didn't you think so?
Play Beethoven with your Beethoven with your feet.
But, okay, it is. I agree with you. It is more stupid in the grand scheme. If this is a normal Sentai with normal characters who all were able to teach their skill. But here's the thing. Retsu, as stupid as the training was able to convey to his pupils how to use Juken.
How is piano playing supposed to... Honestly, Ron's was the only one that really felt like it conveyed anything.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I hate to have to defend it,
but
I think the reason he was teaching the piano dancing ability was to teach agility, which is a core fundamental of Juken.
No, that was a horrible way to do it. Because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it at all.
You're not supposed to buy it. It's the Gekirangers. You're not supposed to take anything they do seriously because they're not a good team. Sorry to the fans out there who love Gekiranger. I know you're all going to be on YouTube now on the comments saying, oh, Riz, Zahn's not that bad. Oh, Riz, try stacking the coins yourself. I don't have to try stacking the coins myself. I'm not the Sentai Red here. I'm not the one that was in the Venture. I'm just a guy with a podcast and a mic.
I think you would have tried, but then time would have been up. Like, no, like you've been more upset that it didn't work, or as opposed to you giving up.
See, and that's the thing. Even if I couldn't do it, I wouldn't give up. I would keep trying until time ran out or whatever the parameters were to experiment. I don't even remember anymore.
Because you know that there's lives at stake if I don't get this thing right.
Yeah. But Zahn didn't have that. And Zahn didn't even have that now. He just said, oh, Sosuke quit my training? Okay, let's go follow him and see what he does. Oh, hey, Sosuke figured out Juken without me? Let me quickly take credit to make myself look smart.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the whole, the whole Juken thing with, like, the Go-Ongers being able to use Juken, like, what do we think about that whole thing? Because this is, like, honestly, like, the concept of, like, combining the concepts of the two different Sentais. The only other time I can remember this being done, and it was honestly done a whole lot better in this movie, in this other movie, was the Go-Sager versus Shinkenger movie, where the Shinkengers combine their Mojikara with the Tenso powers that the Go-Sagers have. Like,
didn't they get like the origami cards or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But how do we think that they handled it here with, like, giving the Go-Ongers like their own, like, engine themed Juken?
If we want to stick to the themes of the Go-Onger crossover movies, just skipping ahead a little bit, I thought Hyper Shinken Red was a much cooler thing to do than this.
Yeah, I did too.
It was. I liked it better, but we'll get there when we get there.
This this didn't really, because it makes sense with the animal spirits, because but engines aren't animals. What spirits are they tapping into? Like,
I mean,
even with Gekiranger logic, it doesn't make any sense.
No, but I think what they're trying to go for there was saying, oh hey, Speedor's an eagle, Bear's a bear. Like they're probably trying to go for that logic, which I understand.
But then just use the actual animals that they're supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they use the cars instead.
They
That
have,
doesn't
they
make
have
any
to,
sense
they
to
have to
me.
be different. I guess that because they want to be different. Like, oh, like see how cool we are with our engine souls, and get it because we're the Engine Sentai. That's the only logic I have for it, really.
Yeah, I feel like this concept was handled a lot better in with the Go-Sager versus Shinkenger thing, because there it's a little bit more straightforward. Like Mako and Eri can both create wind with their power, so they combine it. Ryunosuke and Hyde, yeah, that was his name, can both create water. Chiaki and Monet can make plants appear, etc., etc. It was a much better, more defined concept in that regard. Um, but yeah, is there anything else, like, any standout things with like the Go? Because here's the thing, the Go-Ongers are the main characters here. So do we have anything that stands out about them that I mean, we already talked about how absurd the whole thing with Hiruto and Mew having Juken powers is. But
Can I weigh in on that real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
I think I thought about this for a little while as well, about Mew and Hiruto being able to do Juken prior to the movie. And at first I was like, this kind of degrades the characterization of these two amazing characters, because this is starting to move them towards like Mary Sue and Gary Stu logic, right? Like,
Yeah, let's say they're
concept.
god. It makes them come off as a little bit god modded.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't like it, but also I think I grew to appreciate the intent more. And the intent was, yeah, these two did not have the normal childhood growing up. They were rich, they had money, they could travel the world, they could do different things. It's not inconceivable for these two to have been able to learn Juken at some point in their life. Now, if Gunpei or Hanto had learned it, and they were the ones demonstrating it beforehand, I'd be like, no, this is broken. This is stupid. Don't do it. So I'm conflicted. Like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, this is God mooding them. This is Gary Mary's doing them. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, this could work. I could see it,
I mean, I kind of tend to lean more toward them just being kind of God moded, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not canon, so it doesn't have to really hurt our rankings of those characters.
No, it doesn't hurt anything with this, because the mere fact that we had Gekiranger in the movie damaged the movie.
It's weird you say that, because I want to bounce off that question they just asked. What do we feel about the Go-Ongers? And honestly, I don't think they really contributed much here. This felt like a Gekiranger follow-up with the Go-Ongers just tagging along.
It did. I agree with you on that.
Kind of like the Lightspeed Rescue Lost Galaxy team up episode, where it's where the bulk of the episode is about Carter's relationship with that little girl, and the Galaxy Rangers are just kind of ultimately glorified guest roles.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, so minus the wings, because I think they did decent in the movie in terms of like having standout moments. I can't say that the other four had anything that they really contributed outside of learning the craft of Juken. Sosuke, I think, made the movie more bearable, because he, had the writing been better, this could have been a moment where Sosuke taught Zahn something and made Zahn understand, oh, wait, Waka Waka, I can learn from this guy. Tiki Tiki, he has much knowledge. I must learn it. Waluigi or whatever. I don't even know. I'm running out of words to say for this idiot.
Sorry.
I just picked the first sound in my mind that sounded gibberish to me, and I was like, Waluigi! I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this.
And how did you? I need to ask you this. How did you feel that they could communicate with each other? As soon as I heard them, heard the engines talking to John, and they were speaking like their own little thing to him. I was like, oh my god, Chris is gonna hate this.
I was choosing to not bring it up because I don't want to give myself an aneurysm tonight.
I think it's too late.
No. I'm still one step away from it.
But the thing about this movie that was like the real thing for this was like Long's little payback with the Gekirangers, Rio and Melee coming back, and all of them getting closure with the Gekirangers and taunting Long one last time before he gets sealed away again. That's kind of where the real beef of this movie is. The Go-Ongers are just kind of there.
Yeah, so, but my question is, because again, I choose to forget the entire season happened, but I'm kind of curious. Was this even, in your opinion, because I think you guys remember the actual season more than I want to, did the entire Long resurrection make sense? Did it seem like it could follow canon?
Yeah, I think it did.
Okay.
I thought the whole how they went about reviving him by shaping his thing into an engine soul and putting it into something that could read engine souls. Like, I don't think that's how that works, but all right.
No, I think they were just trying to, I hate to say it this way, but
trying to make a joke out of it.
No, they were trying to just say like, oh, hey, if Rita and Zed can just put their wands together and make stuff happen, why can't we do it here?
Nah.
It's different it's different power systems, different magic systems.
Yeah.
There is no one-to-one science for how do you do things. So I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Long being revived in general, like Long is one of those villains where if he did get revived, it would make sense because again, he's one of those villains where he wasn't killed, he was sealed away. Now, granted, he wasn't sealed away in the way that some other villains are, where you put him in a box and then you put a post-it note on the box that says "Do not open." Like they
right, because that's too intelligent for Zahn to think to do.
Right. You are really ruthless with your John jokes these days. This time, Riz.
I was ruthless last time too.
What was that?
I was ruthless last time too.
Yeah, but
I've also had time to think about him a lot more and how much I hate him.
But yeah, the fact that we do one of the reasons why some of these crossover movies tend to work at some points is that you'll have like a villain that's based from the previous Sentai and then a villain that's based from the current Sentai. But the problem is that the Nunchuck Banki is supposed to be the villain that kind of representative of the Go-Ongers in this case. But the problem is that villain gets killed really quickly and he's dead by the time they do their big like full team transformation. So yeah, ultimately this is just, it's like I mean, I don't know, because I don't know if the writer of this Sentai was somehow felt obligated to do a Gekiranger crossover sequel for God knows what reason, but yeah, it just feels like a follow-up to Gekiranger with the Go-Onger characters. Just
I mean, I don't hate. You go, Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say that even the Banki-Ju was like based on a Gekiranger type thing where it was nunchucks, and I'm just like, it felt a little bit more like this was more catered to. It's even when the Gekirangers were fighting against that Banki-Ju, it still felt like they were fighting against a Renshi in a way.
Yeah. Like, this was intended to be a Gekiranger epilogue, and they chose to make it the crossover movie, so the Go-Ongers were just here.
Yeah.
So.
But even, like, and here's the thing, you can make team-up episodes feel like a sequel to the previous season, and do it in a good way. Perfect example is the Time Force Wild Force team-up episode, but...
Well, shoot, even the Go-Sager Shinkenger one, because Shitaru was the lone survivor of the Godoshu at the end of the season, and he came back for a little bit of revenge, and his plan was brilliant. The movie was actually really good, even though I knew nothing about Go-Sager. I loved how that movie was handled.
You're better off not knowing anything, trust me.
And Chitari got killed for good, and that's not a spoiler, by the way, because you see that we've already reviewed the movie.
Go-Kaiger, yeah,
and there's a Go-Kaiger episode that literally shows the Go-Kaigers killing him, so that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, but that was a good follow-up to give a little bit, like, to wrap everything up with the Shinkenger story.
Yep.
I like this movie conceptually, but execution-wise, it wasn't very well planned out, I feel.
No.
So it's exactly like Gekiranger.
Man, it just doesn't stop with this season, does it?
See, Riz, I can take jabs at Gekiranger too.
And even I'm starting to see the more flaw with Gekiranger now that we've watched this special, and it's like, wow, like I can see why Riz doesn't like this season that much.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm hard pressed to really tell you a single thing about the season that I really liked. There are things that I say are okay, they happened. Oh, wait, I have another soapbox that I forgot about.
God dang it.
Crap, I forgot about this one. What was his name, though? Stopper. What was Stopper's name?
Ken.
That guy. I hate that guy, too. He is so freaking creepy.
I know why. I know.
He is so freaking creepy. Don't you go hitting on my girl there when you're looking at like that weirdo creeper with that freaking mustache and I don't know.
You stupidson.
He just I hate him. He's after John, he's the next person I really hate.
You just said stupid, like you sound like the Dragon Ball Z abridged. That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
Stop being stupid.
Stop being stupid.
Look, I'm begging them to stop being stupid, but they're not. They're getting worse. And according to Nate, we have to do this again one more time.
Oh, and that one's probably going to be worse because here's the thing: Gekiranger was the Sentai at that point, so
I know.
But hopefully, the Go-Ongers are good enough to carry that movie. But
the Go-Ongers could barely carry it.
But yeah, so honestly, as someone, this might surprise a lot of people, but I've not seen that many, like the Sentai crossover movies that I've seen all the way through right now. So obviously, I've seen the one that we're going to review next. This is probably the earliest one that I've watched. Well, no, I remember watching Ginga Man versus Mega Ranger years ago, but so
that one's pretty good.
Yeah. But I've seen the one that comes next. I've seen Shinkenger versus. I've seen both the Shinkenger ones. I saw the Go-Kaiger versus Go-Sager one, and I've seen the Go-Kenger versus Super Sentai one. Of all those that I've listed, and the Ginga Man versus Mega Ranger, I don't want to count because it's been a long time. Although we will have to review that one at some point soon too. But this is probably. I don't know if I could like the worst one before I watched this was actually Go-Ongers versus Super Sentai, and I'll leave my complaints for that one when we get to it. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I don't want to say that this is worse than Go-Ongers versus Super Sentai because that one's got a ton of problems. But I think this one, it might not have as many problems as that one, but the problems that it has are huge problems.
Isn't
So
that the one with Hurricane Blue,
Abar Black, Deca
Baba Black?
Bright, and
Yeah,
Magi Shine and Magi Yellow.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I barely remember that. You didn't like that one? I don't remember the plot, so that's probably why.
Okay, it's nowhere near as bad as its Power Rangers counterpart. I'll give it that, but it's not that
There you
great
go.
either.
I'm trying to think of, because I've seen a lot of the earlier ones. Like I've seen O-Ranger versus Kaku Ranger's not bad. Car Ranger versus O-Ranger is weird. Just because those two teams just do not mesh well at all.
Yeah, that's. If we ever eventually review that one, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Mega Ranger versus Car Ranger was actually pretty good because they looked at each other like they were idiots. Red Racer and Mega Red were a very funny duo.
Oh, those two are going to be very fun to watch.
Oh, it was good. And Ginga Man versus Mega Ranger was a really, really good movie. And the only other one I've saw after this, aside from of course, the Go-Kaiger one, is the Kyoryuger Go Busters one, just because I wanted to see the Dino team up. That movie was good. Even though I had Geki in it.
Yeah. But Geki's not horrible to the point where he can drag something down.
No, but he did open a stupid mouth, so that didn't help things.
Okay, yeah, that's bad.
Geki
Get over it, Dragon Caesar.
Yeah.
No. Hold on. Let's use the infamous Riz quote to summarize that moment. Suck it up, Buttercup. Your master's dead.
You work for me now. Don't worry about that loser.
Stop scoping over Bry. That's my job.
I did just remember that I've also seen the Kyoryuger versus Tokyuger one way back when it originally came out, and I remember liking that one okay, but yeah, this one, if I just want to talk about like just pure crossover movies and not some anniversary special like what Go-Ongers versus Super Sentai was, then yeah, this one is probably the worst, hands down. Now, granted, I hear that there are other ones that are bad. Like, unfortunately, I hear nothing but bad things about the other Gekiranger one, Gekiranger versus Go-Onger. So I hear that one's worse.
Is anyone surprised?
No.
Are you surprised, Patrick? Are you surprised, Anthony? Are you surprised, Nathan? I'm not surprised.
I think the only one that I've seen that's worse than this is probably the Car Ranger O-Ranger one, just because the O-Rangers aren't characters.
Yeah, and that's fair.
The Car Rangers are all character, and the O-Rangers are cardboard with legs. Yeah, and it was boring because of it. But this one's definitely near the bottom.
Which ones have you seen, Riz?
Probably these two and the Go-Kaiger ones.
No, I've seen a couple others. I've seen a couple others in the newer, like the Reiwa saga, but I don't remember which ones. I think I saw the Geodes and what came before
it? Was it Ni Ninja?
Was it Ni Ninja?
Maybe I saw the one for the one after it.
Was it
that would be Gekiranger?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one. It was all right, but yeah, I don't really think I've seen too many other ones. Like I've seen some of the anniversary movies out of curiosity, but I don't think I saw the Go-Ongers one because I wanted to wait and see Go-Ongers before I watched the movie.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Go-Onger at some point, and then we can review that one, and then Riz, we can be done with Gekiranger for good.
I don't believe you.
Unless we choose to rewatch Go-Kaiger again.
We already did that.
Yeah, but I wasn't here for it.
Well, that's the skill issue because you actually said no. I'll join you for Sinkinzer after y'all do Go-Kaiger.
Yeah, because that's my season.
Yeah. Well, that's
I also wanted to hold off on rewatching Go-Kaiger until I've had more Sentai under my belt, so I could maybe appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you? Do you though?
I mean, I haven't watched it yet.
Well,
I mean, you do watch the Go-Kaiser anniversary episode for whatever we watched, I think.
Yeah, I do like to go back, but I do want to sit down and watch the season in its entirety again at some point.
I honestly think when you do the rewatch, you're gonna appreciate it a little bit more.
yeah.
Yeah, that's every time someone tells me that, I end up walking out of it liking it less. So I'll hold you to this because, like, as much as you love Go Kaiser, man, their character story just did not set well with me. So
I get that.
I'll see.
I will say though, you're gonna love the end game for sure.
We'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Well, still waiting for one more episode to come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the Sentai crossover movies go, I mean, honestly, with the number of ones that we have, we could literally make a tier ranking out of this. I would probably have this be, it would probably be a D tier crossover movie for me. And my ranking out of 10, I'd probably give it a
6.
Yeah, 6 is fine because it's. I'm sure that we'll see worse ones, but it's still definitely not a good one.
So I will put this on the scale at a double F.
Sorry about that. That's all.
Just
Super F.
Super F. There you go. Super F.
Crocker
It's so
holding
bad.
up the paper.
It's so bad that an F can't even categorize it. No, in all honesty, I'm going to give it a real F, though, not a double F, super F, because that's not a real thing. I'll give it an F. But
Fairly Odd Parents made it a real thing. That's what I was referencing.
I never watched that.
Super F!
But on the numerical scale, I'm going to be a little bit fair, only because I haven't seen too many of the other crossovers, so I want to leave room for others to be worse.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this a 2.
And Anthony?
I was giving it a 6 too, but I'm only going to give it a 7 only because of the Go-Ongers.
Give in to your hate, Anthony.
Do it.
No, I'm sticking to a 7. That's the final offer.
You went up. You went up. You're supposed to go down.
I'm gonna. That's the lowest I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go any higher than 7.
I thought I raised you right. I gave you everything you could ever want, and this is how you turn out to repay it.
Yeah. Okay, Dad.
Well, anyway, that wraps up our very first installment of a regular series we're not going to be doing, where we take a look at the Sentai crossover movies. We took a look at Engine Sentai Go-Onger versus Gekiranger, and next time we're going to be taking a look at Gekiranger versus Go-Onger because we've already reviewed both of those Sentais. And so you guys can definitely look forward to us review anytime we finish one Sentai and there's a crossover movie between it and another Sentai that we've already finished. We're definitely going to jump on it. So definitely look forward to this new installment that we're doing here. We will see you guys next time when we return for another Sentai crossover movie review, Gekiranger versus Go-Onger, a much better experience if I do say so myself. But until then, bye for now.
If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.